Hello, and welcome back to Universe United, a conversation series bringing us all together across the globe. I'm R'Bonney Gabriel, Miss Universe, and today we are going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is sustainability. And in honor of the upcoming Earth Day, I am joining Ryan Dick from 4ocean, which is an ocean-based cleanup company that is dedicated to cleaning trash and plastic and pollution from the ocean. So let's welcome Ryan into the conversation.
Hey, how you doing, Arbany? Pleasure to be
I'm
here.
I'm doing good. It's great to be here too. Thank you for joining us. I
Thank
have been a
you.
fan of 4ocean for a long time, so this is very exciting to actually talk to you on this Zoom or this Universe United Live.
For me as well.
Thank you. So, we are celebrating Earth Month. For those of you who don't know, April is Earth Month. So, Ryan, can you tell the audience a little bit about the themes this year or ways that the people can get involved?
Sure. So, the theme of Earth Day this year is invest in our planet, right? But what does that actually really mean? Well, it means that governments and institutions, businesses, NGOs, individuals, we all have to come together to solve some of these big problems like climate change and plastic pollution. And it's going to take an investment from all of us to really get there. And we're all these are huge problems, and so it's going to take an army to solve these problems. And I think that we like to consider ourselves soldiers, and we're all soldiers really, because we all need to take the responsibility to look at these issues, understand what they are, and to try to solve them collectively for a more sustainable future.
Yes, absolutely. And I was just looking a little bit more into 4ocean. I have heard of y'all about for a while now, and we were talking about how 4ocean even started. So, can you tell the audience of how that started in Indonesia?
Yeah, absolutely. So really it started back in 2017. A couple of guys, friends from college, went on a surf trip to Bali, Indonesia. And when you think about Bali, Indonesia, you think about, beautiful beaches, crystal clear water, but the reality is that's one of the hotbeds in the world for ocean plastic pollution. And so these guys are surfing these beautiful waves. Meanwhile, they're just paddling through, mounds of plastic, and they figured that, hey, look, we have to do something about this no matter what it is. And they came back, decided to come up with the 4ocean bracelet, and that's how the company really started.
Yes, and I think that's so cool because I've actually been to Indonesia 3 times now in different parts of Indonesia. I love beaches. I love anywhere tropical. And I recently went there in February, and Indonesia is so beautiful. And all these beaches that I've traveled to in my lifetime, you see these beautiful pictures, and then you go there and it's just as beautiful, but then you'll see trash and pollution and plastic here and there, or sometimes in large sums, and it's very heartbreaking. And for me, that's how I started being so passionate about sustainability as well, in reducing my single-use plastic. I mean, for me, it was very overwhelming at first, but I mean, the more and more I talk about it and raise awareness and kind of break down different habits like using single-use plastic straws or even water bottles, that it makes it a little bit easier. And that's what I tell people as well. I actually have my 4ocean reusable water bottle right here. And just a suggestion for anybody, I bring this everywhere. It's really not even that heavy. I bring it to the gym. Living in New York now, I just put it in my backpack or my tote bag. And so whenever I'm thirsty, instead of getting another plastic bottle, I will just use that instead. And I think that's
Yeah,
something everybody
and I
can
was
do.
going to say, for every reusable water bottle that you have, you're saving 345 single use water bottles per year. So that actually adds up over the course of a year or a lifetime, certainly.
It adds up really quickly, actually, because when I was training for Miss Universe as well, I was collecting plastic here and there that I was using for whatever reasons, and it actually collected pretty fast. And I was collecting it so I could make my artwear piece, my cape that I wore on stage. And I took that plastic and I I cut it up, I melted it, and I made it into like a back piece for the swimwear cape. But it was so interesting when I was collecting, like, how fast it really accumulated. I didn't even use all the plastic because there was so much. And that was with me living in mind not using plastic. It's still somehow, in some ways, if I got to go or something, I would still have plastic in my life. So
Yeah.
that's really just to give people kind of an idea of how much it's really integrated into our society. And a lot of that, unfortunately, does end up in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. And plastic, it's a huge contributor to climate change at every stage of its life cycle, from the
Hmm.
extraction of the fossil fuels to the production to the transportation to the degradation. And just to kind of set the stage on how big of a problem it is, since 1950, over 18 trillion pounds of plastic have been produced. Only 9% of that has ever been recycled. And every year, almost 18 billion pounds enters the ocean, which is just, it's mind boggling. And, you've probably heard the stat that by 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight, which, imagine what that's going to look like. But more importantly, not what it's just going to look like, but what is that going to do to the ocean environment? What is that going to do to the communities that rely on the ocean every single day for their livelihood?
Hmm.
Um, 4ocean, we were founded on the premise that business should be a force for good and that it should work alongside nature and not at its expense. And small actions taken collectively can have a huge change. And I know you were talking about the water bottles. To date, we've pulled over 28 million pounds of plastic and trash out of the ocean. Just to put that into context, that's the equivalent weight of 55 Statue of Liberties, 83 blue whales, 196 jumbo jets. It's just incredible the amount of plastic that's out there. And so people come to us all the time and they ask, well, what can we do ourselves? What can we do to create change for the ocean and the environment? Well, like you said, start with one thing. Start with a reusable water bottle. Start with cutlery that you take to restaurants or biodegradable sponges in your kitchen. 4ocean bracelets, pull a pound of trash out of the ocean for every bracelet that we sell. And we're a nudge, don't judge company, right? Because we can't just snap our fingers all of a sudden and plastic goes away. It's just
Right.
not, it's not the world that we live in. And so, what we've done is we've kind of created a program where individuals and businesses can actually offset their plastic footprint, because the average individual uses about 9 pounds of plastic per month, which, if you think about that over a lifetime, really, really adds up.
Hmm.
And so, what we've done again is we've created this program where individuals can begin to take accountability for the plastic that they do use that they can't avoid, and offset that by cleaning the ocean with 4ocean. So that's just another program that we've developed here at 4ocean in the last few months.
I think that's incredible. And, talking about perspective too and what individuals can do, I think one thing that has helped me is that I have a recycling bin in my household, not only because I'm recycling plastic, but when you have that bin, you see how fast it fills up and you really see firsthand how much plastic you're using on a day-to-day basis and a weekly basis. And having that in your kitchen or your household, it reminds you that, hey, I can cut down on this, whether that's cutlery or it's really cool. I do Uber Eats a lot, but you can actually opt out for utensils or put notes like, I don't need plastic utensils. I don't need any plasticware. And my plastic to go bins, the bowls I actually use for my pots. So I look for ways to reuse the plastic I get and then cut down on the ones that I don't need. So for anyone, you can put in your household a recycling bin, and that will really show you how much plastic you're using, give you that perspective, and then that reminder as well of what you can cut down on. And I actually had a question. You mentioned the 4ocean bracelets, and I think it's really cool how y'all make these. So can you tell everyone a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have global cleanup operations all over the world. We have more than 250 employees. So we collect the plastic and trash out of the ocean. We recycle it. We turn it into our products. We use some of it for our partners' products, and what we can't use because it's too degraded, we make sure it's disposed of in the most environmentally friendly way possible. So, all the bracelets, every bracelet that we sell, we remove 1 pound of trash out of the ocean, which is, the premise of the company and how the company really started.
And then the plastic y'all do break down. Am I correct? Into little
Yeah,
small.
absolutely. So all the plastic that's in our 4ocean bracelets moving
Mhm.
forward is going to be made out of plastic that we've actually recovered out of the ocean. So we are actually creating a true circular economy around 4ocean plastic. And so once that plastic is collected, it's washed, it's sorted, it's turned into the yarn that we use to create the bracelets. It then goes to our Indonesian artisans, who are mostly women, so empowering women in the workplace to get involved in the workplace. They create all these bracelets for us, and then obviously we put them out into the world, and people purchase them, and we pull trash. 1 pound for every bracelet that we sell.
See, I thought that procedure was really interesting. And for y'all that are watching, there's actually a YouTube video on it where they break down the plastic into little pellets. And I felt a connection to that because I actually have t-shirts that I sell with my fashion brand, and they're made from recycled plastic bottles. So a little bit of how that process works is you take a plastic bottle, you break it down, and it's broken down into small little plastic pellets and then spun into yarn, probably similar to
Correct.
how the bracelets are made. That
Yep.
yarn is then made into fabric. So in the same way, plastic can be made into something new again. It just takes a process that I think a lot of people don't know about, and I think is really cool and interesting.
Yeah, and we know that you're an advocate for upcycling and sustainable fashion. Obviously your swimsuit from this Universe pageant was part of that. Tell me a little bit more about that, and what we can expect to see from you in the future in that space.
Yes, so I'm all about using fashion as a force for good. We all use fashion in one way or another. Even if you don't think you're a fashionable person, you're still wearing clothing and we're still buying clothing. Everybody does that. So for me, there's a lot of room for improvement when we're cutting down on the pollution of textiles, because actually we all wear shirts and clothing that we don't want anymore after a certain time period. But unfortunately, only about 15% of clothing gets recycled, and the rest of it just ends up polluting landfills or being sent into other countries, and it really just floods their markets. So there's a lot of textile waste. So for me, just like y'all go into the ocean and clean up that plastic and make a new bracelet, I will go into thrift stores, secondhand stores, or even if my friends and family have clothing they don't want anymore, instead of them throwing that away, they will give it to me. I will cut it up and I will make something new again. And it's really just my mission to cut down on that pollution. I love making videos about it. Anybody that's watching, you can check out my social media, because I like to show everybody the behind the scenes process of how that's possible. But really moving forward as Miss Universe, I want to continue to promote sustainability all across the globe, and mostly for fashion design as well, because the fashion industry is the second largest polluting industry in the world. So I just want to keep pushing it to be more sustainable. I think there's a movement going on right now with upcycling that is really exciting. And I just hope it continues to grow and grow, because for me, it's my dream for sustainability and fashion to become the new normal, that people don't even have to think about it so much. It's just when you purchase something, it's sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And our plastic offset program, it does sort of something similar to that, right? Like, again, we know it's not the end all be all solution, but it's a stepping stone
Right.
for individuals to be able to think about the plastic that they use on a daily basis, for businesses to really understand how much plastic they're using in their products and in their packaging, and then
Mm-hmm.
take that accountability and say, hey, look, again, plastic's not going to disappear tomorrow, but we can start thinking about it in a more circular way. And eventually in the future, we're going to have to engineer plastic and other materials out of our system, so that we don't have this sort of this massive plastic and other waste that we have at the end of life that can't be recycled, or we can't do anything else with. So we're looking for sustainability to become the norm and
Mm-hmm.
not the exception.
Right. Do you think that plastic could be a resource for so many other things that businesses can use?
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's part of what we do here at 4ocean as well. We have a research and development program that handles, or that takes our plastic and thinks about different ways, different things that you can use out of the plastic that we recover. And as that program continues to develop and evolve over time, we're finding more and more ways that the businesses and individuals can use plastic in their daily lives and in their products.
Absolutely. And I'm the same way as I continue to move forward with my fashion brand and incorporating plastic bottles in my t-shirts. There are ways that I know people are using plastic to make other fabrics that I'm very excited to continue to learn about, because like you said, moving forward, I think plastic can be a resource for so many other things that we have not
Absolutely.
discovered yet, because there's so much plastic in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining today. I think 4ocean is an amazing mission. I hope to continue working with y'all, maybe in Indonesia or somewhere across the
Sure.
globe. But can you tell the audience of the locations that you are doing the work of the ocean cleanups and how people can get more involved?
Yeah, sure. Again, we're global. We're a global cleanup operation. If you guys want to get involved and offset your plastic footprint, just go to 4ocean.com. There's a link there that you can click on. You can offset your individual plastic usage, and for businesses, people that own businesses, you can also offset the product and have your products become plastic neutral. So head on over to 4ocean.com and check it out.
Well, awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining this Universe United. We will be posting some recaps and shorts on our YouTube and on our social media. So everybody continue to celebrate Earth Day and check back in with us. We will see you next time.
Thanks so much.